between Dad and I, we've owned a few 6.9s over the years, and subsequently, whenever I found these things over the last 20 years, I've done my best to look out for 6.9s, which, along with some trusted friends, helped me pull these apart over the years, with the intention of creating a bit of a library of parts for future use, because this car here I've had for 20 years. I don't imagine it ever going anywhere, and I always understood the scarcity of these parts. Many years ago, you could buy these parts, well, you could find wrecks probably every few years, and they weren't that expensive. Now, in retrospect, one or two of these cars I probably wouldn't have pulled apart in the modern climate, but you're not to know at the time. So the intention is now to have a few of these parts refurbished by a sort of global master on these sorts of things. So I'm just picking apart some bits to send over and get some struts and some valves rebuilt. So the leveling valves are on the front and rear of the car. There's one in the engine bay on the left side, and there's one on the rear axle. Now, they're the same valve, and I do have a couple of new ones that I bought years ago off one of my friends, and I've now got a collection of valves, some in various states of sorriness. For example, this car was off 6.9 number 18. One of the very first 6.9s bought, completely covered in crap. That car was terrible. It was a left-hand drive car that was converted, engine number 12. What did I write here? Car number 18 as well. These are very old valves. I don't think I'm going to be sending them off. So it was discussed with me, and I need to seek advice if there's a way of telling which are the best valves to send. I think I will send this valve here, which was actually off my car but was leaking, and I replaced that with a brand new valve a few years ago. So this one here I believe is going to be acceptable. I think it's probably wear and tear rather than any aggressive issues. That, I think, is actually the bracket that came with the new valve I fit at the time, and I'll send that over to get refurbed. As for the other valves, some of these actually look all right. They've still got the markings. I don't know why I've taken the pieces off that, for example, or perhaps this one here is actually looking tidy. The fact I kept all the fittings has probably protected it. However, it doesn't have the boot, and I'm not sure on the rebuild technique whether the boots are available. When I did strip the car, so I try and keep fittings attached, but sometimes as a young bloke I was doing this in the middle of the night, my parents' driveway, so it was a very quick slash and grab, which I probably would take a different approach nowadays if I had the time. So I'm probably going to send this valve, and I would think maybe this one here, although they're missing the boots, they do have all the other bits, and I trust the cars that they're off. So they're the leveling valves, and in fact, I'm into my box of goodies that I have on the shelf. You probably don't see these very often. There's a brand new one. And pretty tidy. So a new valve with a 126 part number. In addition to that, I don't know how I found these ones. These were reportedly ball joints remade. I think they got these from Germany for a 6.9. There was a bloke over there selling them online. I bought these years ago, but sort of redoing the struts as an entire package, so I'm keeping them for another day. There's two types of pumps on the old Mercs, and there's the standard ones like on 123s and rear wheel only 116s and 126s. Now the 6.9s had the high pressure system, which has got the markings on them, the HPF. This is one that was rebuilt by my old German mechanic before he retired. I do have this pump now. It doesn't have the same marking. It's got HPF, but I'm not sure if that's an early one. I did pull a full Hydro 126 apart, a very rare car in Australia. It's obviously an import, so I'm not sure what the story is with that one. Regardless, I'm also entertaining getting another pump redone if I'm going to send all this stuff from the Southern Hemisphere over to the other side of the world. So strut wise, I'm not quite sure why I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 front struts. The front struts, you can see, have the metal cups at the bottom, and only 7 rears. I think this is the remnants of a rear. My well-meaning father, as he gets a little bit older, was dawdling around in my parts and sent a couple off to rebuild locally by a machine shop, which worries me quite a bit. Now, for example, this one here, number 7, has got rebuilt on it. I don't know how much I can trust that. You can see everything's cleaned up with the sacks built in the part number. Here we go, the Merc pun number 16320, and what have I got? 2613. I'm not sure if those numbers ever changed to 2613. This looks like 2513, but anyway, I'm pretty certain the front left and right are the same. As I said, you can tell they're the fronts by the cups. They don't have the cups on the rear. Now, over the years, here's one car, for example, someone's had a go, chopped the cup off and welded it up, and although the strut kind of looks tidy, they didn't really give much thought to the ball joint. These ball joints should be very firm, and to be honest, let's go through them. They're all pretty rubbish. I don't even know what happened. That one's been taken off. That one's a little bit firmer. I can still move it. I don't think you should be able to move them with your hands. Now, they're very solid. Now, down the end, these ones intrigue me. They look in excellent shape. I think these have been put on the car at a later date or a replacement. You can see the bump stops or whatever we've got at the top look largely intact. They've got the mounting brackets, but well, I'm a bit curious about these and their age. They don't have the same printed part number horizontally on the body. They're made in Germany, not West Germany, so they're not original struts, original production struts. They're more than likely, well, they will be Sachs MB struts, but I presume they're in very good shape, these ones. So those ones we'll hang on to, but I still want to send some over. So I'm going to ask the expert, does he need, for example, the bump stops to be in great shape? Does it not matter? And he did note that he wants good cups on them, because if they're completely rusted out, he can't get them CAD plated or whatever they're going to be. So for example, number 8 actually looks pretty fair. Even number 9 looks good. In saying that, the ball joints, well, that ball joint's actually tough, it's probably just rusted, but the ball joints are pretty average. I'm going to have to ask if he needs intact boots. Some of them do not have boots. So you can see number 1 has no upper bump stop or bracket. Number 2 looks all right. The bump stop is failing. Number 3, a little bit tied, but adequate. Number 4's got the welded cup. Number 5 has no cup. Number 6, the boot is knackered. Number 7 is a rebuilt one, so, well, rebuilt locally for whatever that means. I still don't think I'll send that one. And then 8 or 9, they might be the winners to send. Now onto the rears, and most of these, the boots are completely knackered. Now I have the feeling in that goodies box of mine, 10 is loose on 11, 12 is solid. They're actually all pretty solid. That one's shabby, so is that. Now I'm pretty sure I've got a set of those boots. MB was still making them from memory. Might just go and check. No, I couldn't find the rear boots, but I know I've got them somewhere. So I'm hoping if I was able to buy them, the rebuilder's got a stock as well. Bump stops on 13, 12, 11 and 10, not on number 14. 15's got a bump stop, and these little hoses, I don't know if there's anything special about them. You wouldn't think so. They just look like pressure fittings. These ones are special, and I understand the rebuilding process. He can just take the ends off them and put new hose on them. So that's basically what I'm up to today. Just sussing out what to send along. There's the sensor which attaches, I think, off one of the front left spheres or accumulators, just under the engine bay. I only remembered to pull them off some of the cars back in the early days. Never had a failure with one of them yet, but 6.9s, always take everything you can whenever you come across one that's reached the end of the road. So that's where we're at.